Musicians like to complain. I'm one of them, definitely, but I'm trying to become a better person. I actually used to have a million piano-related complaints specifically, like, my fourth finger is too long, or my fourth finger just isn't long enough. And you know, I also had those complaints about the place I come from, about Iceland. I moved abroad to New York when I was 18, and as soon as I discovered on Juilliard's infamous practice room floor that I wasn't the only good pianist my age, I became a bit obsessed with the idea that Iceland had done me no good, that it had been too small and too kind, overprotective. That being born in this country had been my most serious mistake to date. Then, as one does, I practiced incessantly for 6 years. I had a great time at Juilliard. Then I moved to Europe, where I didn't really know anyone. I started from scratch and I realized I had to create my own projects to fill in the gaps of my concert schedule. Quite a few gaps indeed. And I soon realized that Iceland's smallness is in fact its greatest asset. Because there are so few people on the relatively large island, there is this do-it-yourself attitude that I love, an attitude that I think is quite important to develop in classical music today. The feeling in Iceland is always that everything is possible if one is ready to work for it and, get your friends and possibly even cousins to help. I'll give you 3 examples of how this has worked for me. In 2008, I wanted to release a CD, but the record labels I spoke with had unreasonable demands. They even wanted to make a profit, you see. So I started my own label, naturally, Direndi, and I have released 3 albums to date. Another example, I thought it was a shame that there was no show about classical music on television. So, inspired by the examples of Glenn Gould and Leonard Bernstein, I created my own 10-episode series, Útúrdúr, roughly translates into Out of Tune, for the Icelandic Broadcasting Service, aired this season and the next. Third, and I promise the last of my examples, is my festival. I started it, Reykjavik Midsummer Music, in 2012. It takes place during summer solstice when there is daylight 24/7 in Iceland, a magical time. The festival's home is Harpa, Reykjavik's breathtaking concert house, and the program for each year is different, centered around a particular theme. Anachronism in 2013, Minimal Maximal 2014. Now in its 3rd year, we find ourselves looking forward to Mahler Chamber Orchestra visiting us, as well as some of today's most interesting soloists. Along with performing and being the artistic director, I help with securing the funding, I'm involved in the graphic design, I help with the marketing, and sometimes I stack the chairs when needed. And because it's Iceland, this is not so unusual, and somehow it works in the end.